Welcome to This Explainer. You know, if you share your home with a cat, you already know you get amazing companionship and a whole lot of affection. But did you know that having a cat actually provides proven, measurable physical and mental health benefits? It's absolutely fascinating. Today, we are unpacking the science and the practical realities of sharing a life with a cat. From the incredible ways they boost our well-being to the very specific duties we owe them in return, we're going to explore what makes the human-feline bond so deeply rewarding.
So, here is our quick roadmap for today. We'll start with the human-feline bond, move into our duty of care, touch on navigating pregnancy and babies, and finally, wrap up with managing risks and allergies. Let's get right into it.
Okay, let's dive into this. Section 1. The human-feline bond. The give and take of our relationship with cats.
To really understand our connection with felines today, we kind of have to look back at how this incredible dynamic first started. The domestication of cats is an ancient story. I mean, we're talking all the way back to 7500 BC. Originally, they were incredibly practical. The idea spread like wildfire because they protected human food stores from rats and mice. Over time, as their massive value became clear, they were highly esteemed. They were literally idolized as divine figures in some ancient cultures. Humans started looking after them, providing shelter and warmth, which eventually gave rise to the domestic cat species we see around the world today. And in the modern day, they've evolved so far beyond just pest control. Whether they're providing eco-friendly vermin control on farms, being amazing companions in bustling family homes, or offering vital comfort for residents in quiet care homes, cats have just deeply woven themselves into the fabric of our lives.
And you know, the reason they've become such cherished companions isn't just emotional, it's profoundly physical. Studies show that simply stroking a cat actively reduces your stress hormones and lowers high blood pressure. It's like a natural reset button for your body. Their presence actually increases our feel-good hormones like oxytocin and serotonin. For people affected by mental or physical health issues, this bond is incredibly therapeutic. Cats have been shown to provide genuine, measurable help to those living with depression, dementia, and autism. And they even improve the recovery rates of trauma victims. The emotional and physiological bond we share with them can truly be as rewarding and impactful as many human relationships.
But of course, a relationship goes both ways, which brings us to Section 2, our duty of care. Basically, what we owe to our feline friends.
So the crucial point here is that living with a cat doesn't just bring perks, it brings strict legal and moral responsibilities. Under legislation like the Animal Welfare Act 2006 in England and Wales, owners have a legal duty of care. And importantly, this applies to both domestic pet cats and feral cats. The law mandates 5 specific welfare needs. This means you have to provide a suitable place to live and a proper, nutritious diet. But it also means actively allowing them to exhibit normal feline behaviors. Think scratching, climbing, chasing toys, the whole shebang. It guarantees their right to be housed properly, whether that's with or apart from other animals, depending on their unique temperament. And most importantly, it mandates complete protection from pain, suffering, injury, and disease.
Now, a massive part of protecting cats from suffering involves neutering. Cats are highly effective breeders. Left to their own devices, they can have several litters a single year. On an individual level, neutering your cat at around 4 months old provides huge health and behavioral benefits. It reduces or even entirely prevents certain cancers. Plus, neutered cats are way less likely to roam, fight, or spray territory. But flip the perspective to the community level and the consequences of overpopulation are pretty severe. When there are simply too many cats, they're forced to live far closer together than their solitary nature desires. This drastically increases infections, spikes stress-related diseases, causes violent territorial conflict, and inevitably leads to more cats ending up in rescue shelters or living on the streets as fearful ferals. Speaking of fear, let's look at how early kitten development prevents a lifetime of anxiety. Despite thousands of years of domestic history, all pet cats actually need positive human interaction from a very young age to feel safe. Between just 2 to 7 weeks of age, kittens go through a critical socialization period. It's a tiny window. If they are gently handled, played with, and cared for by a variety of people during this specific time, they usually grow up to be friendly, confident, and well-adjusted pets. Without this early learning experience, kittens, like those born in the wild to feral mothers, will remain inherently fearful of humans for their entire lives, which makes domestic living highly stressful for them.
All right, Section 3 brings us to a major life transition, navigating pregnancy and babies, and how we blend growing families with our feline companions.
Adding a new human to the family is exhausting and overwhelming for everyone involved. But with a bit of structure, we can keep the household harmony intact for both the humans and the cat.
Which leads us to one of the most common and stressful questions expectant parents face. Do pregnant people need to give up their cats over toxoplasmosis fears? You might have heard terrifying rumors about toxoplasmosis. It's a microorganism that can potentially affect a developing fetus. Sadly, out of sheer fear and misinformation, some pregnant people actually consider giving up their beloved cats. But is this fear scientifically justified?
The answer is a resounding no. A major study published in the British Medical Journal definitively concluded that contact with cats was not a risk factor for Toxoplasma infection. While cats are a link in the transmission chain, the main ways humans actually contract the infection are from gardening in contaminated soil without gloves, eating unwashed fruit or vegetables, or eating undercooked meat. To be totally safe and give yourself peace of mind, pregnant people can simply wear gloves and an apron when changing the litter tray. Or, honestly, better yet, use it as the perfect, scientifically backed excuse to get someone else in the house to do it for the next 9 months.
So, once we've safely debunked that myth, how do we actually prepare the cat for the baby? Well, cats are creatures of habit. They genuinely thrive on predictable routine. To make the transition seamless, you can follow a few simple steps before the baby even arrives. Step 1 is straightforward. Get a vet checkup to make sure your cat is healthy and ensure they are neutered to minimize territorial stress. Step 2, bring the nursery furniture, like cots and prams, into the house early. Let the cat investigate all these strange new objects and then shut them away so they don't become a favorite cozy sleeping spot. And step 3, which is a real game changer, play recordings of baby sounds on a very low volume, gradually increasing the noise over a few weeks. A sudden piercing baby's cry can be absolutely terrifying for a cat that has never heard one before, so building that familiarity early works wonders.
Now, what happens once the baby actually arrives? Your cat is going to notice the new arrival immediately. Some will act like protective guard cats, others will totally ignore the infant and just go about their day. The key here is practical, everyday safety. Keep the nursery totally inaccessible while the baby is asleep. Use a taut cot net to deter the cat from using the crib as a warm, elevated bed. Keep all baby feeding utensils well out of the cat's reach. And definitely keep the cat food and baby food stored in completely separate cupboards. Trust me, you really don't want to mix those up in a sleep-deprived moment at 3 a.m. And the golden rule, no matter what, never ever leave a baby and a cat together completely unsupervised, even if you trust your cat 100%. For our final section, we are looking at managing risks and allergies. How do we overcome the practical hurdles of living with cats without breaking that incredible, historic bond? When it comes to the science of cat allergies, people often think they are allergic to cat hair or dander. Now, what's really interesting here is that the true culprit is usually a specific protein called FeLD-D1. This is a protein produced in every single cat's saliva. When a cat grooms itself by licking its coat, this protein firmly attaches to their fur. From there, it dries, flakes off, and spreads all around the house. It's this microscopic, airborne protein that triggers the classic symptoms like sneezing, wheezing, and itchy eyes in asthma and allergy sufferers.
But here's the great news. Mild to moderate allergies are highly manageable with a few smart, everyday adjustments. Being allergic doesn't mean you automatically have to give up your pet. For sure, you can start by designating strict cat-free zones, especially your bedroom, to give your immune system a break at night. Try grooming your cat outdoors daily, and follow up by wiping them down with a damp cloth to physically remove that FeLD-D1 protein right off their coat. Inside the house, opt for hardwood floors and blinds, instead of heavy carpets and curtains, which just act like massive sponges for allergens. And of course, make sure you're opening the windows for at least an hour a day to keep the air fresh and wash the cat's bed regularly. These small changes can dramatically clear the air.
Finally, a quick note on shared infections, which scientists call zoonotic diseases. Yes, all animals carry bacteria in their mouths and on their claws, and things like ringworm or salmonella can occasionally pass from a cat to a human. But the reality is that the risk of catching a zoonotic disease from a domestic cat is actually very small. It's incredibly manageable with basic, common-sense hygiene. Just provide appropriate, clean toileting areas, always wash your hands thoroughly after handling the litter box, treat your cat routinely for fleas and worms, and seek medical advice quickly if you ever do get a deep bite or a severe scratch.
Well, we've covered a lot of ground today. From the incredible ways cats lower our stress and blood pressure to the specific legal welfare needs we absolutely must meet, and the actionable steps for blending them safely into growing, changing households. They offer us so much comfort, affection, and joy, but it requires a solid foundation of care and understanding on our end. So I leave you with this final thought to take away. Knowing the profound physical and emotional benefits they offer, how will you nurture the empathy and mutual respect that makes the human-feline bond so deeply rewarding? Thank you for joining me for this explainer, and stay curious.